Discrimination has been around for as long as America itself. There are so many types of discrimination nowadays: job discrimination, gender discrimination, age, disability, racial. But how did we get here? Discrimination occurs when someone or a group actively singles out other groups due to their race, beliefs, ethnicity, and more, and considers them a negative part of society.
Many examples of discrimination have littered our past and caused the anomaly that haunts us to present day, and will continue throughout our existence.
Slavery and segregation has also had a huge impact in U.S. history even till today. Throughout our history and colonization of the country in the 1600s, African Americans had been enslaved and were forced to do work for others. They were looked down upon by everyone else and were thought of as completely inferior and able to be whipped for work. Even after slavery ended, a new problem arose. Segregation that started when the Jim Crow laws were put in place in the 1880s, and they separated the African Americans from the Caucasian people. This meant that they had different schools, places to eat, bathrooms, you name it.
The Pearl Harbor attack on December 7, 1941, proved to be an extremely impactful event and shocked Americans throughout the country. Another result of this, however, was the government and army deciding to put Japanese Americans in internment camps, regardless of whether or not they even did anything. The amendment rights given to all Americans were already put in place during this time, which goes to show how America has chosen to ignore it in the past.
Even though all of these events happened in the past, they had lasting effects on the future of the U.S. And discrimination is still going strong and is impacting many people's lives. In fact, according to an article from the NPR, most Americans think that their groups have already faced discrimination.
Those communities are historically underserved, which means that I don't think they get the attention, the services that they are entitled to, in my view. And so I think a lot of the discrimination comes from the fact that they simply aren't being served as well or as much as the larger white privileged communities.
Discrimination is preventing people from having all their rights guaranteed to an American.
According to Title VII of the Civil Rights Act made in 1964, any type of discrimination in the employment process is strictly not allowed.
Even after the fact, these laws are not being strictly followed, which is proven by many sources. Job discrimination cases are displayed in multiple articles.
I am saddened because my history is a reminder that I did not stand equal in this nation, either as a woman or an African American, or even as an immigrant, of which my grandparents were. And so I join in pleading with this House to not in any way strip us of civil rights and tear up the Constitution of the 14th Amendment.
Question about why do people discriminate? And I would have to say that that's mostly out of lack of better words, ignorance, because people do not know how others live and their background, where they came from, and where they've been in their life. That's not the only thing. That's probably the largest percentage of that.
According to our survey, 1 in 10 people still think that it is okay to discriminate against African Americans on a religious basis.
16% of those people said that it's okay to discriminate against LGBT people, 15% said the same for atheists, and 12% said it for Jewish people.
Affirmative action is a policy used to give support to certain people or groups that are usually discriminated or poorly represented.
Harvard has stated that affirmative action raised the African American rates to 14% from 6% and Hispanic rates to the same 14% from 9%.
On the other hand, this meant that Caucasians and Asians had to pay the price. Caucasian acceptance rates went from 48% to 40%, and Asian Americans' rate went from 27% to 24%.
Intentional representation in media. So this is a huge thing. I hang out with young people of color all the time, and they are constantly telling me how hard it is for them to find media that they can identify with, because there are such a short or small number of protagonists that are people of color that are women, and billion roles that don't just fulfill the stereotype that's been perpetuated through media, like the black gangster.
Speaking of which, Muslim women have claimed that media coverage is in fact biased against Muslims and is only displaying the negative part of their story. This will lead to terrible stereotypes, as people will have heard only the bad things and nothing else.
U.S. News wrote an article proclaiming that there were 28,181 accusations of house discrimination filed in 2016. This means that people are being unfairly treated while trying to purchase, rent, or finance a house due to their looks, beliefs, and more.
All of these things combined make it clear that we should end discrimination, or at least find a way to make it so that it isn't an issue anymore. Just look at what has been happening to people, how it's affecting their lives. It needs to stop. Please, get to know other communities, experience other cultures. This will help us defeat stereotypes and defeat discrimination as well.
you